Hey guys, welcome back to another day of Bible reading. Today we are going to read 2 Samuel chapter 6, verse 1 until verse 23. And we're going to learn about the ark being brought to Jerusalem. And there's a lot more. But if you remember, last time we read about David being anointed king, and all the Israelites came to him and they were like, yeah, you are bone of our bones. You are our brother. So God also anointed you as our king. So can we just have you as our king? And yeah, they had their celebration. And then the Philistines also found out that David is now king of Israel. Yeah, of Israel. So they wanted to sort of like destroy him before he actually became stronger. But then David inquired of the Lord and was like, God, should I go into battle with the Israelites? I mean, against the Philistines, are you going to help me? And God was like, yeah, you can go, I'll be with you. And they destroyed the Philistines. So obviously God did most of the work, but as per usual, God does not want to do anything without you being a part of it. So today we are going to learn about the ark being brought to Jerusalem. And as I was reading this before, it's kind of honestly it was one of those, I don't know, uncomfortable ways that God dealt with situations that I thought was like yeah. But the question that came to mind is is intention more important than righteousness? So if you like we are out having fun and then people happen to drink more, and then the intention is to get home, is it more important for you to drive home and get home, or it's better for you to obey the law? So that is one of the questions that I found myself asking after what happened in the Bible. So hang in there and hopefully you will get to answer this with me. The ark brought to Jerusalem. David again gathered all the chosen men of Israel, 30,000. So 30,000 were the chosen men. So this obviously means that it was not all the men of Israel, just the specific men who were chosen for the specific task. And David arose and went with all the people who were with him from Baal, Judah, to bring up the ark of God, which is called by the name of the Lord of hosts, who sits enthroned on the cherubim. So David called the chosen men. Let's just call them the chosen men because that's what they are. He called the 30,000 chosen men and told them, like, guys, let's go get the ark of the covenant of God from Baal, Baale, Judah, to bring it up to where they are. And obviously, now they don't have to fight anymore. So David is like, things are settled. I don't have to run away for my life anymore. So can we just get the ark of the covenant and bring it back here so it can be with us? The presence of God can be among us. So yeah, obviously everyone agreed. So, and they carried the ark of God on a cart and brought it out of the house of Abinadab, which was on the hill, and Uzzah and Ahio, the sons of Abinadab, were driving the new cart. So Abinadab was a prophet? I think he was a prophet, or he was just a man of God. But he had the oh yeah, he was a Levite. I think he was a Levite. But he had the Ark of the Covenant of God. And then now David is like, okay, things are okay. Can we just go and get the Ark of God? And then they did. So Uzzah and Ahio are the two sons of Abinadab. So they went to get the Ark of the Covenant of God from the house of Abinadab, but then the house is on a hill. So obviously, as you know, the hill is like this. Well, I just said this. A hill is like this or this, whatever. So which means that it won't be flat like this. So yeah, we have to go down, and the road will not support you. So they are holding the Ark of the Covenant of God, and now they are walking. And yeah, with the Ark of God, and Ahio went ahead before the Ark. So basically, Ahio was walking in front of the Ark. Maybe Uzzah was behind the Ark. And yeah, verse 5, Uzzah and the Ark. So remember, they're still walking from Abinadab, now taking the Ark. They were supposed to take it to David. And David and all the house of Israel were celebrating before the Lord with songs and lyres and harps and tambourines and castanets and cymbals. So this is just the array musical instruments that they had. And honestly, some of these I've never heard of, like the castanets. I've probably seen them, but I didn't know the name. So yeah, so they were all rejoicing, celebrating that they have the ark. Now they're taking it to the king anointed by God. So everything at this point felt good, felt right. Everything was good, God standard and human standard. Everyone was happy. So now they're going, celebrating, and when they came to the threshing floor of Nacon, Uzzah put out his hand to the ark of God and took hold of it, for the oxen stumbled. So they were walking, and then they get to the threshing floor. So if you know the threshing floor, back then, I don't know if we still have them. I mean, with so much technology all around, I don't know if we still have threshing floors. So basically, threshing floors were where you do your farming, and then you would get your wheat and safe and whatever, and then I think you would beat. I don't remember. I don't know how to actually do the threshing, but you have to separate the bad from the good. So you have to separate the. Let me see. You have to separate the worthless chaff from the grain, from the good grain. So what you're going to keep, you have to separate them. I mean, yeah, when we do farming, I'm saying we, but yeah, when we do farming, we take everything and then we separate it at one location. We don't take the good only, and then I mean, while we're just picking up whatever the fruits, the veggies, we don't take only the good and leave the bad on the field. We take everything and then we separate everything when we get to a different location. So that was also the case with the threshing floor. So I've kind of read the obviously before, and then there was a story in a few chapters ahead. David kind of sinned against the Lord, and then the angel of God came and destroyed everyone. That was the punishment that David said okay, was okay. But the angel of the Lord came and destroyed everyone, and the angel stopped at the threshing floor. So I was like, is this the same threshing floor? Cause yeah, but I figured no, let's leave it for the next question. But the fact that the angel also stopped at the threshing floor, and now they are at the threshing floor. Like Uzzah is, I think, on the side, and was that Ahio is in front of the ark. So now they're getting to remember, they're working on a hill, and then they're holding something, everyone all around them. So now they're on the hill working down. Now they go to the threshing floor, and then the oxen stumbles. So obviously, I feel like it's a natural thing for all of us. If I see something about to fall and I can hold it or stop it, I feel like it would be natural for me to just jump up and do that. So, which is what Uzzah did, and the anger of the Lord was kindled against Uzzah, and God struck him down, and there, because of his error, he died there beside the ark of the Lord. So Uzzah was just trying to hold up the ark of the Lord so it would not fall to the ground. But God was like, no, righteousness is more important than intention. Righteousness is more important than intention, because which means that Uzzah was not the right person to touch the covenant of God. Uzzah had no position, no authority, nothing within him. He was not righteous at all. So according to God's standards, Uzzah was not a good fit to touch so the glory of God was too much, and then he died. So if you remember, the threshing floor separates the bad from the good from the bad, and all of that. So is this saying that Uzzah was not good because he died at the threshing floor? Was it just, yeah, I'm like, interesting. Uzzah died where the good and the bad is separated. And then the goodness of God was just too much. The holiness of God was just too much, and then it overcame him and he died. So I'm like, interesting. Interesting. So is intention more important than righteousness? Because his intention was just to make sure that the ark of God does not get to the floor and get dirty and all of that. But who was he? So for God, righteousness is more important than intention. So also with the law of every country, it's more important for you to obey the law than have good intentions. Because if you drive home drunk, your intention is just to get home and be safe in your house, in your home. But then you are breaking the law by driving drunk. So I was like, I understand. Even though it was not my innate response to understand why God did this, but I was like, okay, I understand. It was more important for Uzzah to know his place, because there will always be things that are tempting you to disobey. They're tempting you to do something that is out of your calling, your position, or whatever. So there will always be something. So if you choose to be distracted by everything else, then you are disobeying. You are disobeying the law. And which led to Uzzah being killed now beside the ark. And David was angry because the Lord had broken out against Uzzah, and that place is called Perez Uzzah to this day. So obviously, a lot of people, even I, when I first read this, I was like, God, but wasn't it more important that he kept your ark clean and safe? But God was like, no. Ugh, those sorry. sorry, yeah, but God was like, no. So I just said this picture, like, as I was also reading this before. Imagine you are at a wedding and you happen to touch something dirty, maybe the cake or whatever, but your hands are dirty, and then you see the bride, maybe she trips on her dress or something, and then now you try to help her with your dirty hand. Is the bride going to be like, wow, thank you, you saved me from falling? Or is she going to get upset that you sullied her dress, that you made her dress dirty? Was your intention more important than the right thing? So I'm like, good question. So yeah, hopefully we will get the answer. And David was afraid of the Lord that day, and he said, how can the ark of the Lord come to me? Because David at this point, he is seeing himself as a human. David, of course, David was a human, but he is seeing himself as a human. We are messy, we are faulty, we sin, we do everything wrong every day, all the time. So David knew that it was unavoidable for him to sin against God. It would be like it was bound to happen. Basically, David saw that it would not be possible for him to get away from this. He is most likely going to sin against God. Now, the presence of God being in his house, and now just because Uzzah touched it, it showed David the reality of what is going on here. Who is the host of the covenant? The reality, because I remember they were just happy, celebrating, yay, we finally taking the ark back to David, the city of David, yay, yay, yay. Everyone was happy. But then what happened to Uzzah woke David up and showed him that no, I understand that you are being responsible by taking the ark to the city of David, but you still have to act right. You still have to be righteous. You still have to obey God. So yeah. So that's why David came. How can the ark of the Lord come to me? Because now you see that, okay, I'm a sinner. I am going to sin. Every day I wake up, my thoughts are sinful. I think about sinful things. I do sinful things. So it's going to happen. So David was not willing to take the ark of the Lord into the city of David, but David took it aside to the house of Obed-Edom the Gittite. David was like, no, not me, not me. Of course, given the choice, no one would ever say, I would die. Like, as much as we know that we believe that we are not going to hell, but I don't believe anyone would just be like, no, I want to die. Everyone, it is innate, it is an innate response to choose life. So I understand why David is saying that. But then now he's saying, okay, Obed-Edom, then how about you hold on to the ark of the Lord for now? And the ark of the Lord remained in the house of Obed-Edom the Gittite 3 months, and the Lord blessed Obed-Edom and all his household. So the entire duration of the ark being at Obed-Edom's house was 3 months, and in that period the Lord just kept blessing and blessing Obed-Edom. The presence of God was physically in that place, was like there. So obviously it means that Obed did not touch it. I don't think he would. So for me it means that he didn't. It makes more sense to me that he did not touch it, because you would need a reason to touch it anyway, and especially after seeing what happened when someone else touched it by accident, you also wouldn't want to be a victim to such things. So respect God's boundaries, respect people's boundaries. And it was told King David, the Lord has blessed the household of Obed-Edom and all that belongs to him because of the ark of God. Such a child. So yeah, we all know that obviously the ark was supposed to go to the city of David, but David obviously started fearing for his life when he saw what happened. But then now when he heard that the Lord was actually blessing Obed-Edom, he started thinking like, maybe I reacted too quickly and prematurely and made irrational decisions. So David went and brought up the ark of God from the house of Obed-Edom to the city of David with rejoicing. So now David saw that, okay, God doesn't just go around killing people for nothing. He actually blesses people who take care of him. So I was like, okay, then fine, I'll go get the Ark of the Covenant. And now everyone was rejoicing. Everyone is happy because now also David got to come down and see God's point of view. So he also wants the blessing, of course we all do. So he went to get the Ark of the Covenant, and then now everyone was happy, rejoicing. And when those who bore the Ark of the Lord had gone 6 steps, he sacrificed an ox and a fattened calf. So they had gone 6 steps, meaning out of the house of out of the house of Obed. So the people that had the covenant, the Ark of the Covenant, they were holding it, or after they had stepped out of the house, like 6 steps, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think it was the last person behind, the person at the back, because obviously the person in front would reach 6 before the person at the back. So it's more important for all of them to be ahead. And yeah, so the sixth person, after all the people like took 6 steps, and then he sacrificed a calf, a fattened calf and an ox. And like, yeah, I guess it was also kind of like a test, just to see if God would take their lives. But God was like, no. And David danced before the Lord with all his might, and David was wearing a linen ephod. So David and all the house of Israel brought up the ark of the Lord with shouting and with the sound of the horn. So everyone was excited. Ooh, ooh, ooh. So yeah, um, David was wearing an ephod, and he was celebrating with a linen ephod. I'm thinking, like, yeah. Now we are in verse 16. We're going to read about David and Michal. Michal, remember, Michal is Saul's daughter. Saul's daughter, the one who got married to David before all the other women. And so I think the last time he had seen her was when he was fleeing from Saul. So she came and told him that my father is trying to kill you, so you should try get away tonight. If you don't, then those will be your last day. And she actually loved David, so she helped him. He got away, and then they never saw each other until a few chapters back, when David decided to go get her wife, uh, because Saul had decided to marry her off to someone else. So now this is where we are. They are back together, living in the house. And the ark of the Lord came into the city of David. Michal, the Saul's daughter, looked out the window and saw King David leaping and dancing before the Lord, and she despised him in her heart. Why? Why would you want to dictate on someone how they should dance, how they should celebrate? Because David is happy. He got the Ark of the Covenant of God. That's how important the relationship was for David. For him and God, between him and God. So that's how important it was. And the fact that God did not kill anyone this time, he was also rejoicing. But then now Michal looks outside the window and sees them celebrating. It's like he looked at him with despise in her heart. So she despised him. So why? Was he dancing horribly? What could be the reason? And they brought in the ark of the Lord and set it in its place beside the tent that David had pitched for it. And David offered burnt offerings and peace offering before the Lord. So before even addressing the issue, David now, of course, it's more important to put the Ark of the Covenant of God where it's supposed to be before you go now and address minor issues. So I kind of agree with David here. So they put the Ark of the Covenant of God in a tent, a pitched tent, a tent that David had pitched for just specifically for the Ark of the Covenant. And David went, and when David had finished offering and David placed, after putting it in the pitched tent, and then David offered burnt offerings and peace offerings before the Lord. So everything is finally good. So obviously, to show gratitude, you would offer burnt offering, peace offering, like thank you God. Peace offering and burnt offering, thank you God. And when David had finished offering the burnt offering and the peace offering, he blessed the people in the name of the Lord of hosts. After all of this was done, everything was good. David was happy with everything. He blessed everyone. and distributed among all the people, the whole multitude of Israel, both men and women, cake and bread, a portion of meat and a cake of raisins to each. Then all the people departed, each to his house. So it was a big party. Remember, the chosen people were only just 30,000 men. Just only 30,000 men. That's the chosen people. But there were other people who were there. Obviously, if I know that, okay, now, well, now we are going to get the Ark of the Covenant of God. And even though I don't have to necessarily hold it myself or be among the men, the chosen men, I want to see it too. So obviously there were people who came out to see, and then now after everything had been done, all the offerings done, everyone is happy. David gave everyone cake, bread, meat, and yeah, raisin cake of raisins. So was it like just dried fruit, raisins, or it was a cake with and then just like type of like a fruit cake, but then just had raisins in it, or was it just a bunch of raisins and made into a cake? I don't know. Yeah. Then everyone went to their home. Everyone, of course, was happy. And David returned to bless his household. But Michal, the daughter of Saul, came out to meet him and said, "How the king of Israel honored himself today, uncovering himself today before the eyes of his female servant, as one of the vulgar fellows shamelessly uncovered himself." So for Michal, it was more important to maintain a certain level of demure etiquette than to rejoice and enjoy. Yeah, it was more important to look good and separate yourself from your people than to actually enjoy the works of the Lord, to enjoy the blessing of God. So she got offended because David was just like dancing, like having fun, like yeah, 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 yeah. So David was just having fun, but she felt like, how could you? You are a king. How could you dance among your people like that, even taking off your clothes? And mind you, she's kind of like the first royal family of Israel. So the etiquette that she knows, she hasn't. I'm pretty sure she hasn't known it for her entire life, because she was obviously so David's age for her to marry David. So she was David's age. So, but then now she's saying, for me, it also, I feel like she also had life before she became a king. I mean, her father became a king. She was alive and she did things before her father became a king. So she was a normie before her father became a king. But then now, because her father was a king, she felt like it was more important to be perceived in a certain level of esteem than to be a part of God's creation and celebrate the blessing of God. And David said to Michal, "It was before the Lord who chose me above your father and above all his house to appoint me as prince over Israel and the people of the Lord, and I will celebrate before the Lord." I know that we often feel like we have to justify our actions, or I have to do something that can also satisfy other people. But David was like, no, I was dancing before the Lord. So the dancing that you are saying like it was horrible, I was not dressed, I exposed myself to people, it was before the Lord. It was to honor God, the God who chose me before your father. Like, damn, David, damn. But yeah. Again, verse 21, and David said to Michal, "It was before the Lord who chose me above your father and above all his house, appoint me as prince over Israel." So he chose me over your family and everyone from your family. So of course, I am going to rejoice and celebrate my God. He chose me. I am going to celebrate before the Lord, and I will make myself yet more contemptible than this, and I will be abased in your eyes, but by the female servant of whom you have spoken. Okay. Let's go back. Verse 21. I will make myself yes contemptible than this, and I will be abased in your eyes. So I will lower myself to the lowest of lows in your eyes. I will do that. I'm not ashamed. But by the female servant of whom you have spoken, by them I shall be held in honor. So the people that you look down to, they will hold me in honor because they see me among them. They respect me, but I can come down to them. It's the same way as Jesus did for us. He is God. He is God. He was God in the flesh, but he came to be among his creation. There is no love like that. So, of course, a lot of people think that they should always be distant. You are more superior and I'm inferior, blah, 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 classism and all of those. But the truest form of love and honor is when someone takes off these labels and chooses to be humble among his creation or his subject. So that is what David is saying. I will take off this honor that you think is more important, and I will be like, I would rather honor God and be honored by the people who you look down to. And Michal that day, the daughter of Saul, had no child to the day of her death. So out of what she spoke about David and basically all the scorn, the anger and disappointment that she had, she now God punished her by not giving her kids. It was more important for Michal to be seen as, royalty, that she's regal and all of those things, than actually honoring God. So basically, it's the same way that Saul saw things. It was more important for King Saul to be loved and honored by the people than for him to honor God. He was not going to allow himself to be humiliated, embarrassed, and all of those things. But if it meant honoring God. But as long as everyone around him was happy, Saul was happy. And that is the same posture that his daughter Michal has. She prefers to distinguish herself from the commoners. She prefers to do that, and that is what she does, and it ends up leading to her punishment. Now God is saying that she did not have a child, and now she will not, to the end of her day, or to the end of her days, to her death. Oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today. Yeah. Next time we're going to read 2 Samuel 7 verse 1 and 7 chapter verse 1, 7, Okay, we're going to learn about the Lord's covenant with David. So now back to our question. Is intention more important than righteousness or law? Does it matter your intentions if you're breaking laws? Because a lot of people, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. So your intentions are misleading. They are misleading because they come out of, it is basically the fruit of your heart. Who you are on the inside will be revealed by the kind of intentions that you have. But it should not supersede the law. It should not supersede God's righteousness. So you can be a good person and help people, But then at the end of the day, God first. Respect God, honor God, reverence God, and worship God. God first. And if He says, this is how I want things done in my house, let's respect that. Same for me. If you come to my house and I tell you that, no, you have to take off your shoes, you have to respect that. Whether your intention is to come in and just be a good friend, but I tell you that, no, take off your shoes, do this and do this before you come into my house. You have to respect that. Whether you agree with it or you don't, respect that. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for today, and I hope you learned something. And remember to read the Bible yourself. Read the Bible yourself. We all have the Bible. You can easily buy it, and in whatever language your native language is, you can easily do that, or also download Bible apps. So I am just sowing the seed so that you can now go and buy the Bible or get the Bible and read it for yourself. This is the only way that you will get to have a good relationship with God. How can you have a relationship with God if you don't know Him? And how can you know God if you don't spend time in His Word? So let's go back to the basics, ladies and gentlemen. Love you all and see you all next time. Enjoy the rest of your week. Jesus loves you. Always remember that you have the mind of Christ. For God so loved the world that He gave His Son so that He can die for all our sin. And He came to be with His creation. And He died for us. So I think that is the best form of love. So remember, no matter what you're going through, Jesus loves you. I love you too. Bye.